If you wanted to buy a gallon of vintage Dom Perignon champagne, it cost you about 600 bucks. Pricey, right? A gallon of human blood? Surprisingly, only about $1,500 on the medical market. But this little black plastic brick? Printer ink clocks in at a staggering $12,000 a gallon. That is liquid gold. Actually, no, it's more expensive than gold. So why is the stuff inside your home office the most expensive liquid you will ever buy? It's not magic, it's a trap. Welcome to the razor and blades business model. Or as I like to call it, the first hit is free, the rest will bankrupt you. You walk into a store, you see a shiny new printer for 30 bucks. You think, wow, what a steal, technology is so cheap now. You take it home, print exactly 3 pages of your resume, and boom, low ink. Already? You run back to the store to get a refill. The cartridge costs $45. Wait a second, that is literally more than the printer itself. You didn't buy a piece of technology, you bought a subscription to a mandatory, overpriced fluid service. And the companies behind this, they aren't just selling ink, they are engineering your frustration. Let's break down the scam.
This genius scam started 100 years ago with a guy named King Camp Gillette. Yes, the razor guy. He realized, if I sell the razor handle for pennies or give it away, you are forced to buy my blades forever. You're locked in. Printer companies took this to the extreme. They often sell you the hardware at a loss. They literally lose money when you buy that cheap inkjet. It's called a loss leader. They are paying you to take the printer home. It's a Trojan horse. Once that plastic box is on your desk, they own you, because that printer refuses to drink anything but their specific brand of vintage Pinot Noir. I mean, cyan. You might think, I'll just buy cheap third-party ink. Nice try. The manufacturers are 3 steps ahead of you. Modern cartridges aren't just plastic tanks, they have microchips, DRM, digital rights management. The printer talks to the cartridge. Are you official HP ink? If the chip doesn't say yes, the printer refuses to work. They invoke security updates to brick your printer if you use a knockoff. It's a digital blockade. But wait, the companies argue, our ink is special, it's high-tech. We spend billions on R&D. Is that true? Or is it just colored water? The companies claim this is engineering magic, thermodynamics, precision droplets, nanotech. They say they spend billions making this liquid perfect. But let's look at the recipe. It is mostly water, plus some dye, some solvent to keep it wet, and maybe a little fungicide. Does mixing water and dye justify a price higher than vintage champagne? I can mix a pitcher of Kool-Aid in my kitchen for 12 cents. They also built in a feature to protect the printer, maintenance cycles. Every time you turn it on, the printer vomits fresh ink to clean itself. You aren't printing on paper, you're printing into the trash. Consumer Reports found some printers waste up to half their ink just on cleaning. Then there's the expiration date. Ink isn't milk, it doesn't go sour in the fridge. But the chip has a calendar. Once that date hits, the cartridge shuts down, even if it's full. It's a digital kill switch. Speaking of full, ever opened a dead cartridge? Tech enthusiasts have found up to 20% of the ink is still inside when the printer screams empty. They call it a safety margin to prevent drying. I call it the theft margin. So, is there any escape from this sticky, overpriced nightmare? Actually, yes, but the companies hate it. Enter the EcoTank printer. Epson finally broke the silence. No cartridges, just big tanks you refill with cheap bottles. Suddenly, the math changes. You pay more for the printer up front, but the ink? It's basically free compared to cartridges. The industry panicked. If everyone buys tanks, the razor and blade model dies. They needed a new trap. Welcome to instant ink.
You don't buy ink anymore. You pay a monthly fee to print a specific number of pages. They stopped charging for the liquid. They started charging for the page. Print a single period, that counts as a page. Print a photo, a page. Here's the kicker. If you stop paying the subscription, the ink cartridges you already have in your machine stop working instantly. You don't own the ink in your house. You're renting it. It is the ultimate endgame of capitalism. And because it's a subscription, your printer must be online, always watching, always reporting back to headquarters. So, how do you win? 2 words: laser printer. It uses toner, powdered plastic. It doesn't dry out. You can leave it for 5 years, come back, and it prints perfectly.
Brother, Canon, basic HP lasers, these things are tanks. They aren't pretty, but they print text for pennies, and they never clog. The catch? They are terrible at photos, unless you like your family memories looking like a grainy newspaper from 1980. So here's the rule. If you print text, buy a cheap laser. If you print photos, buy an eco-tank. If you buy a standard inkjet, you played yourself. Or do what I do. Go to the library. It costs 10 cents a page, and you don't have to troubleshoot a driver error for 3 hours. The ink market is designed to be confusing. It relies on you looking at the upfront price tag, not the long-term cost. Don't take the bait. The cheaper the printer, the more expensive the ink. Always. If this saved you 50 bucks, hit that subscribe button. It's free, unlike cyan ink. I'd write more, but I'm running low on magenta. And I'm writing in black. Don't ask.